What's up, YouTube? We are back this week on Friday instead of Thursday with episode 31 of the Super Deformed Gamescast. As always, I am your host, Mr. Megative. You guys know me as John. It's great to be here with everybody today. We have a very, very special guest tonight.
In a pirate hat.
In a pirate hat.
How did that happen?
Yeah, it's so...
I'm playing around Google Hangouts.
I don't even know it's... God, it's like having two JTs in here. It's terrible.
Yeah.
This is... So we're very excited about our guest this week. The very well-respected Jason Schreier from Kotaku is with us. Jason, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's a real honor to have you on the program. Holy shit!
As you can see, I'm very well-respected.
Very respectable.
On a beach right now. What is this? A brick wall?
It's a brick house, I guess. Yeah.
We used to do this. So here's some. Oh my God, that's a
Somebody's
sound.
at the door.
That was there's sound effects too.
I can already see how that...
So here's a fun Kotaku history story. So we used to have our team meetings on Google Hangouts occasionally, and our deputy editor at the time, Tina Amini, would just do this shit during every single meeting. And every meeting would go an hour longer than it needed to be because she would just add facial hair to everybody. So that's where it came from. Blame Tina.
Blame Tina.
Is that Tina Amini, right?
What's she doing these days?
It's her fault.
She moved on to somebody.
She's outside of games. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about what she's doing.
That's fine. Yeah.
Top secret stuff.
I thought she went to work for a developer. That's fine.
No, non-gaming stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, hi. Good to be here. Thank you for having me, guys.
I can already see. Dude, you're gonna fit right in here. I guarantee it. Okay, and starting with the rest of the panel, all the usual suspects are here. Al is standing in for Jeff. What's going on, buddy?
How you doing, eh? What's that old beat?
What are you talking about, man?
I'm supposed to be Canadian for the syrup lord who's missing out.
But you know what? I'm fine with having the cat gift warlord here. That's cool, man. Thanks for all the gifts you've been throwing out, man.
Yeah,
that was a really good one you did, by the way. That was awesome.
I scrambled to get that out right before I got home.
That was a good one.
Hopefully Jason liked it.
And then we have the most eligible bachelor on Super Deformed Gamescast, Brandon himself, the only man who's been hit on by a member of our audience who may or may not be a female. We're not sure, but it doesn't matter. What's up, man?
We'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm good.
And then we got the Rocket Squirrel. JT is here with us. What's going on, buddy?
What's up? Go Blues, baby. Go Blues. I'm missing the Blues game for this podcast. So you better feel special.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm missing the rest of the playoffs because of the fucking Blues. So
hey, we don't get this very often, so you got to give it to me.
It's too soon. I've got to show some pride tonight. So, and then we got the best dev in the business. Doc is with us. What's going on, buddy?
I'm alive. That's going to be my response for the next few days.
Well, that's all one can ask for, man. Have you decided whether or not to throw an SDGC reference into your upcoming first-person shooter?
Ooh.
Not yet. I'm working on stuff that would involve that right now, though. So.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear.
What about the cat gun? What about the cat gun?
The cat guns, or the bee. No, the insect gun that shoots the big hornet balls that I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll definitely be a wasp's gun. I like wasps better than bees.
I like it. Yeah. Who was it that suggested bees? Was that Jeff? Who suggested the bee gun?
That was me.
Was that you, JT?
You've been playing too much Far Cry Primal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I actually platinumed Far Cry 4 like 3 years later after it came out. So.
I feel like
it was my first platinum ever.
I feel like bees are for kids and hornets are for men. I don't know. That's just kind of the way I look at it. And then we've got the calmest man in video games. Steve has joined us. I wasn't sure if you're going to make it tonight, man.
Just in the nick of time.
I like it. All right. So what we normally do here is this is about the time where we talk about what we've been playing this week. And I want to throw it out to our special guest first because I'm very polite and I'm a gracious host. Jason, what are you playing this week?
At the moment, I mean, I don't want to make your audience super jealous, but I'm playing...
Just say it.
I'm playing this indie called Uncharted 4. You guys want to check it out. I recommend it.
I've never heard of it.
I'm not allowed to talk about it because it would be rude for me to violate the embargo. But
is the pixel art good?
It's a video game.
Pixel art.
How are those side-scrolling platform sections?
There are more than 16 bits. I can confirm that there are a lot of bits in it. But I can talk about other stuff I'm playing. I play a lot of NBA 2K16, which I am not embargoed under, and I can tell you about my 2K player Lorenzen Patsaglu, who scores 32 points and 20 rebounds a game.
Jesus.
So I'm addicted to the My Career mode in NBA 2K16, and I made this guy who's 7'3" and has pink hair and just dominates the NBA, and it's so much fun. My goal is to win MVP.
Does he 7'3" and have 99 speed as well?
No, because in My Career you can only affect the height. So like you have to actually start from the beginning, and like you start off playing in high school games and college games. You build up this character. There's a whole storyline, and so my goal is to take them all the way up. And that's about it. I'm playing some Bravely Second. I know some of you guys are into that jazz.
I haven't played Bravely First, which kind of makes me feel bad because I'm not
Bravely First.
That's the best unintentional joke
you
ever.
have not played Bravely Default.
No, I know
Wow.
it's called Bravely Default. But I just prefer to call it Bravely First. I think it's better that way. By the way, I just want to point out, Jason, that's going to be the highlight. That's going to be the highlight of the podcast, right there.
Bravely First. That's a good name for it.
That was the apex right there.
You can
It's
skip.
all downhill from now.
You can skip the first one. You can go straight to second.
Really?
Yeah, I would recommend that actually.
I've heard so many good things about Bravely Default though.
No, it's great, but then Bravely Second improves everything. So, and it starts off with a summary of the entire first game, so you don't need to play the first game. And then you get in, and the mechanics are all similar, but have more interesting options, and the classes are better. And hopefully, I haven't gotten to the end yet, and those of you who have played Default will know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, there is no second half of the game the way there is in Bravely Default.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Jason. And so what we'll do now is we'll go all the way to the end of the line, and we'll start with Al. Al, what are you playing this week, man? What's going on?
Alien Nation. That's basically it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I wish I had some more free time, but I don't. So I'm only, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours in. Don't judge. I just popped level 9, found my first legendary weapon. Big moment. Pretty awesome. I'm playing it solo. I'm not playing it co-op yet. But I would love to play co-op with you homies if you're ever down.
Dude, the minute we're done here, I'm going to be online playing.
I'm sure Brandon will talk more about it in greater detail. I'm sure he's played a lot more, so I'll give that to him.
Since he's on World 14 already.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Go ahead, Brandon. Take it. Pass the baton, man. Let's hear it.
All right, I've been playing Alien. Oh, are you done now?
Well, I just started Uncharted 3 on the Nathan Drake collection. I've only played it on the PS3, and I never got back to Uncharted 3 to check it out. I was just blown away by the difference in like almost the quality of texture work and everything from Uncharted 2 to Uncharted 3 as far as the Nathan Drake collection goes. It's insane. Blue Point, man, so good, so good.
Yeah, Blue Point knows what the fuck they're doing, dude, for real.
Yeah. I'm trying to work through that as fast as I can. I know I only got like 10 days, 9 days. We're not all press sneak fucks, so.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
Some of us have real jobs. No.
Oh shit! They are cool, dude. Not cool. Watch, Jason's picture's gonna disappear, and I'm gonna have to fire.
No,
Hey,
I'm just.
I'm psyched I don't have a real job. I love that.
Yeah, I'd be too. But other than that, that's all I'm playing.
Okay,
All right,
cool. Yeah, Brandon, go ahead, man.
Jumping right off of that, I've also been trying to finish Uncharted 3. I'm more than halfway done, but I find the pacing really glacial. So I get bored after like 45 minutes.
What's wrong with you?
Me
I
being
don't know,
a geologist, I have to ask by what you meant by glacial, like slow moving.
As slow as it possibly could feel. Yeah.
You
Okay.
rock nerd.
I need more combat. Uncharted 3 has lots of puzzles. It's just not. Yeah, well, not for me. but and then Alienation. So I got one class up to level 30, and I got the 2 other classes up to like level 15. I've just been playing a ton of Alienation.
Damn. Co-op solo?
50-50.
Oh,
Because
awesome.
sometimes, if I'm trying to get through a mission real quick, I find it faster to just do it at my own pace and just do it solo.
I have a question. Is the loot instanced for each person, or is it you gotta? It's like free for all.
No, you only see the loot that you can pick up.
Nice, man. I like that.
I like
a
that show.
question too. Are
Yep.
you stuck to the same screen the way that Helldivers was, or?
You're not stuck to the same screen, but if you start walking far enough away from the host, it'll automatically teleport you back to the host.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then I started Ratchet and Clank today, which
Excellent
so
choice.
good.
I played
So
a good 3 hours of it or so, 2 or 3 hours, and I love it.
Play it on hard.
I play on casual, man. I just beat Dark Souls 3 last week. I think I'm afforded a casual Ratchet
Oh, you
and
got?
Clank right now.
Nice, man.
That's a good change of pace from Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Going from something
It
like
actually,
that to
it
Ratchet.
actually is.
That's perfect.
It is perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice palate cleanser for Uncharted coming up, and Doom, obviously. So
Oh
there's
my
gonna
God.
be lots of violent shooting in my
I
future.
watched the stream of that the other day.
That
and
looks fucking
the
awesome.
single player looks amazing. I was not impressed by the multiplayer beta at all, really. And like the movement, like the jumping, double jumping, and like climbing on stuff was really cool. But like I don't know, I just wasn't enthralled by the beta a whole lot. But the single player looks awesome.
I would
Yeah.
rather just play Quake Live than do multiplayer. That's just me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do come May. Just Doom and Uncharted 4 drop. I mean, obviously for me the priority is Uncharted, but still, these next few weeks are just going to be fucking.
Making it
May is a crazy month. You got Valkyria Chronicles Remastered.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
There's
God
May
damn.
May is a month, man.
God, this April and May combined, dude, are just fucking insane.
Yep.
All
R.I.P.
right.
backlog.
JT, what are you playing, man? Other than Rocket League, we don't want to hear about Rocket League.
Other than Rocket League. I've also been playing Alienation, but I've probably played less than Al has. I'm like level 7, so we'd be probably good co-op partners after this.
Hey, I'm
knock
down.
some stuff out. I got frustrated with the Nebraska part. I don't remember what the town name was, but it was like disappearing enemies or like
The phasing enemies.
Yeah, phasing enemies.
Yeah.
And like the artillery strikes and stuff where it'd like chase you around. I just got.
I know exactly what you're talking
solo. So does that get better? Does it get less annoying?
I never had a problem with it the first time, but I've seen plenty of other people say they did, so you're not alone.
Okay, well, that's good. But I mean, I've been playing a lot of crap other than that though. Like I've been playing Sly Cooper 1, the Thievius Raccoonus, and I never played that before. I never played it on PS2. I played in the HD collection. And I've got all the way up to the final boss, and Clockwork is kicking my ass, and it's really annoying because you die or you get hit once by anything, and it's like game over, and you got to start the entire section over again. So that's annoying. Been playing a little bit of Red Dead Redemption. I started that over because I started that on Xbox 360 and got to Mexico, and then for some reason I quit, and I never came back to it. So I started it back over on PS3, playing through that.
You know that sequel's getting announced at E3. You know it's going to happen. You know it's coming.
Yep. That's kind of what I'm playing, and I want to be prepared.
And the reason I say that is I'm going to be throwing stuff like that out throughout the podcast. I just want to see if Jason like cracks the faintest hint of a smile, because then I know. Anyway, JT, keep going, man.
I'll keep going real quick. So I've been playing some Vita stuff too. Good old Vita. Been playing The Walking Dead Season 1. I never finished that. I always got to Chapter 3. I think I've got to Chapter 3 like 3 different times on different platforms, and then I just lost interest, stopped, like the train section. Don't know why. I've been playing Virtue's Last Reward, Zero Escape. I just beat
so good.
I just beat
good.
999 2 weeks ago, and oh my gosh,
God.
what a great game! I
Those are
love
so
how they
good.
blend like science fiction into it, and it's so cool.
So you're playing Virtue's Last Reward for the first time?
For the first time, yep.
Oh man,
It's on-
You
it's on
are
my
in
Vita
for
right
a
now.
ride. You
Nice.
are.
Turn it
Oh
on.
man, I'm jealous that you
don't
get to
matter.
experience it for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what people were saying about 999 was like, I want to play through that for the first time again, and yeah, it was so well done. Like I followed a guide just because I wanted to get through it as quick as I could before Zero Time Dilemma comes out, and also get through VLR. So I like followed a guide to get to the true ending, and then I realized you can't do that. You have to like see everything to get everything. And I was like, okay, that's kind of genius. Like I'm kind of glad that you gotta go through all the paths and then see why you have to see everything. So it was pretty cool.
I swear, dude, you are like the gaming workhorse of this podcast. Like you play more games in a given week than I could possibly comprehend.
I jump around a whole lot.
I applaud you. I'm impressed. It's actually quite a feat.
That's why I finished no games though.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of.
And then I start up Rocket League again, and then it's just like I get nothing done.
Have you played the basketball stuff?
Yeah, I have played the Hoops update a little bit.
Oh yeah, that looked awesome, man.
It is awesome. I like it a lot better than the hockey mode, and I wish Jeff was here because we played a little bit the other night, and Jeff's pretty good at it. It's he's better at that than he is at regular Rocket League.
Oh, shots are fired, dude. He's in chat too. You heard that?
The best thing I will say about the Hoops mode is whenever you like jump up and then you come down, you know how like you get a sound when you land. Instead of that sound, you get like tennis shoes squeaking.
Oh, okay.
That is like the best thing of all time.
That's a cool little touch. That's a nice little attention to detail. Oh, and the NBA Jam announcer.
Yeah. They had a missed opportunity. They had a missed opportunity with that. They should have done like a tie-in with like Space Jam or something, where the Space Jam theme would come on.
But
music.
Jordan comes out.
I just love the fact when you hit a shot, you hear the NBA Jam guy say, "What a shot!" You're like, oh, I fucking love it, dude. It takes me back.
Yep.
All right.
Hold on, before we move on.
One
more thing. Been playing Severed, and that game is awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's so fantastic. It's really interesting how the enemy design is, because like it gives you little morsels as you go down the line of like how you're supposed to defeat the enemies, and then they change it up a little bit, and so you're like, okay, I don't know how to defeat him, but then you figure it out, and it's like, that's brilliant. And then you play like through the game, and you go and you play those enemies all like together, and it just makes the combat so much fun. You're swiping and I mean, I guess that's all you do is swipe, but it's really cool to like have to mesh your strategy together, and the exploration is really cool. So I will stop talking and let other people get to what they want. But
that's actually gonna be my next game after Alienation. Oh, and I want to give a quick shout out to our buddy, our pal Shinobi, who's in chat right now. Shinobi, what's up, man? Glad you could join us. Okay, Doc, what are you doing this week, man?
Speed Adrift, which is that it's like a walking sim in space. It's really good. Had a blast.
The Adam Worth one.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, I have my complaints. There are no shotguns. There are no demons to kill. Stuff like that. But
soon, my friend.
It had moments. It had moments that genuinely had me kind of gasping for air as it was. Played more Super Hot. Not sure I like it. The more I play it, the less I like it.
You were so high on it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you these moments when you nail a playthrough. It feels really nice, but it's got too much of the I want to be the guy mentality, and that kind of sucks.
What do you mean? You mean
you want to be the guy?
Yeah, like, I mean, my biggest complaint right now probably is that it feels like my character's hitbox is way too big because I'm dodging bullets and I'm still getting hit by them, and I feel like I shouldn't be.
Oh, that sucks.
So that's kind of my biggest complaint is, like, I feel like I'm dying more because my hitbox is wrong than because I'm playing poorly. But it's an interesting game, for sure.
Even Doc blames the devs.
I feel like it's wearing out its welcome just a bit. Right now I'm also playing 8-Bit Armies, which is this random little, it's like Red Alert 2, really. It just came out of nowhere, and it's like super fun. You have challenges for every mission. Each challenge gives you more starting units for every mission. So, like, I'll go through and I'll play it and only get a couple of challenges, so then I'll go play the next mission and I'll come back with new units from that future mission and just destroy the previous mission. And it's, I don't know, it's really tight, it's really fun. It kind of, after so many years of the RTS feeling dead, it feels really kind of nice and vibrant. I'm having a lot of fun with 8-bit armies. I mean, I've also played some stuff I can't talk about, which, is just the nature of things, but...
God.
I'm sorry, I love pissing you off.
We're getting a lot of that on this podcast.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that flying around on this podcast today.
Between Shinobi and...
You won't even have to worry about it. It's not like it's going to be out for like a year.
Stop it!
Oh, that cheese.
And then I'm playing a little bit of my own stuff. Was breaking down like elements last night and how I want all elemental damage to be radically different from every other elemental damage, because that's like my big pet peeve with like BioShock is like fire and lightning are the same effect in that game, and I wanted to make sure every single element works differently. So I've been designing weapon effects. And
awesome.
I really want my eyeball gun to be
cat gun.
awesome.
Cat gun. Cat gun. Hornet gun.
I might do a cat gun.
Cat gun, because when you get hit by the cat, you get confused, but then you're like, oh, do I like the cat? But I'm confused.
Hearts in question.
I don't know if it fits with the aesthetic yet, but we'll see.
You need a gun.
No.
You
should
need a gun that
contact Psionics. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say what you need is a grenade that when you throw it, when it detonates, you just hear every snarky comment that's ever been made on this podcast all at once, and it confuses the enemy. They don't know what to do.
That's what you need. We're trying to build a grenade that creates jump pads.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we want to be able to like troll each other when we're playing. Like, be running along and somebody actually drops a jump pad right in front of you and it launches you into the air. I'm also trying to ensure that our raids are better than Destiny's, because I think that's totally doable.
Ooh.
Shots
Bold
fired.
words. Jason's over there. He looks like he wants to say something.
I look forward to playing your game, Doc.
I'm hoping that you can drag your fire team into my raids and enjoy them as much as I do. Of course,
we'll see.
That sounds like a weird video game come up. Like, I want you to drag your fire team into my raids.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
My loot system is definitely different. My AI system we're thinking better. And of course, there are no warlocks in my game, so it's already 1,000 times better than Destiny.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thanks, Doc. Sorry, I had to deal with the technical issue there for a minute. All right. No, awesome, dude. Thanks. Appreciate that, man. And Steve, if you want to go over what you're playing this week, real quick.
Yeah, I platinumed UFC 2, a Spike Lee joint.
Damn.
Yes, Spike Lee.
Spike Lee.
I did play a little bit of 2K16 last night, actually, and I'm still in the Division, running around in the Dark Zone. Still fun to me. So.
Yeah. Well, you're the only one on this podcast who has any fun with that game.
Well, there aren't a whole lot of people running around, but it's a good time.
I've enjoyed Alienation way more than the Division.
Yes, as have I. I've been playing Alienation all week, and I played the Nio demo. I've got some issues with it, which I went over in great detail on the Basement Radio Arcade podcast.
Is it Nio or Nio?
It's Nio.
Okay. I've never heard it pronounced.
It's Nio. At least that's how I've heard it pronounced. That's what I'm going to go with. But
that's what we're running with on the.
Yeah, and it's cool. I'm really excited about it. It's definitely needs some balancing issues. The enemy damage ratio to your damage output is greatly skewed. I mean, you're going up against guys where no shirt. Like there's this one dude. It's just a trash mob with a spear. He's got no shirt on, and you whack him 6 times with a katana. He's chilling, but you've got plate armor on. He hits you twice, and you're done. So I was like, oof, Jesus. Plus, like all the enemies move with a much greater sense of urgency than Dark Souls enemies do. It's obvious what they're trying to do. They're trying to. It is very much a Onimusha / Dark Souls game. And the hand of Dark Souls is even greater than it was in Salt and Sanctuary. The problem is that just like just like Bungie kind of launched Destiny without really knowing what makes a loot-driven MMO shooter what it's supposed to be. I mean, they learned after a while, but it feels like it. Well, I mean, you can argue. I don't know that you can argue. That's an argument for a different time. We can talk about that all day. But it seems to me like Team Ninja is trying way too hard to be Dark Souls.
Yeah.
What makes a Dark Souls game a Dark? It's not just about crushing difficulty, and the difficulty in this is such that it's
But this is Team
frustrating.
Ninja.
Yeah,
This
but
is
it's
Team Ninja. Like they make difficult games. They've made more difficult games than they've been making difficult games for longer than From has been around. Like
yeah, and by all accounts, like on paper, this game is actually older than the original Dark Souls, but it just hasn't been made yet. But at the same token, Team Ninja games, I love the Ninja Gaiden games. Gaiden, whatever. I love Gaiden 2.
Gaiden.
Yeah, I like two. The original Black was fantastic. Sigma, and I never played the other one. I didn't even touch 3, of course. But those weren't very hard. I mean, those had like a little bit of a steep learning curve, but they weren't unfair. What I felt in the Nioh demo when I played it was that it was unfair almost at the beginning. And to an extent, like the intro to the Souls games, usually they like put you against like a huge boss just to like put you in your place and like,
Yeah.
that's a sobering point.
Know your fucking role.
But this starts off with trash mobs, like you say, that are like almost
Way
impossible
overpowered,
to take more than 2 or 3 on is suicide.
It is, no, it really is. But having said that, it's an alpha, and these are things that can be ironed out, and I expect they probably will be.
I hope so.
Anybody
fix the technical side is terrible too.
Actually, this demo has a really cool feature. Actually, before you start the game, you can put it in movie mode or action mode, and action mode focuses on frame rate. Mm-hmm. At the sacrifice of resolution. And then you can do, and it's actually really smooth. Like the difference is noticeable. In fact, Jason, you guys
really low.
Well, I mean, Kotaku did a really, really cool video. Actually, I believe it was Kotaku comparing the movie mode and the action mode for the Nioh demo. That's a really, really cool mechanic. I would love to see more games take advantage of something like that. Offer an option like that.
I don't read Kotaku, so I
I heard that Nioh was going to be a PS4 Neo launch title. Can you confirm or deny that?
Oh. I see what you did there. I see. In fact,
Nioh. That's cute.
In fact, Jason, I guess my first question for you, and now that we got all that boring stuff out of the way, my first question for you is, what exactly are we going to see at E3 this year?
All right, let me give you a list. Exactly. All right, I'm going to give you the full list.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready.
Zelda.
And we're done.
The full list, not the Nintendo full list.
Yeah. Were you guys expecting something else?
Okay, so
I don't know. Are you begging me for scoops right now?
No, we're not gonna. We're not gonna go scoop begging. A few people in the chat were like, "Dude, you gotta ask for some scoops," but that's not why you're here. You're just here to talk about video games.
Watch Dogs 2. We'll see Watch Dogs 2 at E3.
There you go.
Bold.
Look at that. Bold.
That's a bold move right
It's
there.
a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him.
It's set in San Francisco, nice. And you play as a hacker. Okay. That's your scoop. That's it. That's all you're getting.
Jason's dropping those bombs, man. God damn.
Wait, I gotta tweet this out.
Yeah, make sure you get on the horn and let everybody know.
And it's exclusive to NX.
I've run into I'll say something on NeoGAF or like in a comment on Kotaku, and it's not something that I would want to post, but like someone from like fucking GameSpot or something will see it and decide to write about it on their own.
It's gotta be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's happened to me a few times before, and so it makes me not want to like save it. Sometimes I'll hear stuff that I don't necessarily want to report on Kotaku for one reason or another, and so usually I just keep it to myself because I don't really want other people making news articles out of it. So let's see if you see an article on Monday on any game sites talking about Watch Dogs. Jason Schreier said on the podcast.
I'll tell you what. If our name ever got thrown out in like a GameSpot article talking about when Jason Schreier sat down with Super Deformed Gamescast, dude, I would shit a brick.
Yeah. They might not. I don't know. Some game sites aren't so good about crediting. They might just say Kotaku Jason Schreier said in a podcast.
Said in a podcast full of a bunch of plebes.
Yeah, just throw out some random stuff that may or may not stick, and we can get some fans from that. Yeah.
On Friday, Jason Schreier inexplicably appeared with a bunch of schlubs on some podcast.
How about Sweet Code in 6? If I say Sweet Code in 6, maybe it'll come true.
Please, no, I would love. No,
Sweet,
that actually ties into a question that somebody submitted, but we'll save that for a little later.
Is there a Suikoden pachinko machine out yet?
And if not, it's coming soon.
It's coming. That's actually a pre-order. That's actually a pre-order bonus for Suikoden 6.
This is the one disadvantage I have with the consulting thing is I know some things that are gonna be at E3 and I can't say. Like, I'm under NDA and it sucks because there's some really exciting stuff coming.
Well, you can just tell me and I'll tell you.
Yeah, but I don't like betraying my boss's trust.
That's great. That's actually a great idea, Doc. You're his new insider. You understand?
I don't like to think of it as betraying trust as much as serving the public.
I like that. I like that. That's good. So I have to ask. I have to ask. Where did the press sneak fuck thing come from, and what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, well, so that came from an article.
I remember that thread.
I don't remember. I never.
All right, I'll give you the story. I'll give you the story. So, in May 2013. Oh, actually, this leads into something we could see at E3. So, in May of 2013, I heard that Arcane Austin had been moved to, well, so their next project was going to be a reboot of Prey 2, which had been canceled over at Human Head, which was the studio that was originally developing Prey 2, the sequel to Prey that Bethesda bought at some point or another. So I reported that in May of 2013. I said, hey, we hear the people behind Dishonored are working on Prey 2. Then later that year, in the next few months, some folks from Bethesda, including their PR person and Raf Colantonio from Arcane Austin, like one of the heads there, they all came out and said that wasn't true, which was, first of all, unusual because usually game developers don't come out and straight up deny rumors. They'll just say, oh, we can't comment on that, whatever. And also pissed me off because I knew it was true. So at some point, after like Raf Colantonio straight up denied it, I got a hold of some emails that he had sent to a studio that May, including the one where he said, hey, we're working on Prey 2. And then another one, so the timeline is May whatever, they tell the studio they're working on Prey 2. A few days later, I post my article. Then, after my article goes up, Raf Colantonio sends out another email saying, now that the press sneak fucks have got a hold of this, they'll be trusting you guys for questions. And so I printed that email as well as part of this article, and so that's where it came from. It's a fun title. I like it. I wear it as a badge of honor. But actually, so I bet that since Bethesda has a conference this year, I bet they're going to show. Actually, I don't know if it's even still called Prey 2 because there's really no reason to stay attached to that game.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I would agree.
But so I do know that Arcane Austin is working on this like System Shock-ish game that is going to feel a lot like that type of like sci-fi shooter with RPG elements, and that will probably be shown at E3, whatever it's called now.
Sweet.
Gamescast. Awesome. I hope you're listening.
Let me tweet that out. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can tell you right now, Jason, that GameSpot is most assuredly not listening right now. So I would love it if
all
they were.
All it takes is one thread. All it takes is one NeoGAF thread, and bam, it's everywhere.
Well, we do have a Super Deformed Gamecast NeoGAF thread.
We actually do have a NeoGAF thread. I'm actually currently banned from NeoGAF until next week.
A good sign.
I can't actually do anything with it because I went nuclear on some dude. I was having a really bad day, and this guy just like got on my bad side, and old Sergeant John in the U.S. Marine Corps came out to play, and somebody actually attached a message to my band. They said, not okay to talk to people like that. I was like, all right, sorry, dude, my bad. I'll take my best. My first band, though, I think Brandon's on number. Brandon's in 3, so I'm
three and counting.
Wow.
I'm not doing so bad. I got
a big old goose egg right here. As much as I shitpost.
You're a rookie, man.
Yeah, I know.
So, Jason, I know that you are a big JRPG guy.
I am.
And we've actually.
How'd you know?
I know, right? Like, you would think that I read Kotaku or something. It's kind of fucking crazy, but so am I. Especially like old school JRPGs back from the PlayStation 1 era. I know Brandon is as well, and JT and Jeff enjoy their JRPGs, and Steve also. You couldn't tell by his little avatar at the bottom there. He comes from the old school JRPG crowd as well, and so I was wondering. I thought a kind of a cool topic for discussion, or we did actually. It was Doc's. It was Doc and JT. They were the kind of the ones who came up with this topic. So I don't want to take all the glory from them. But
Doc's idea to talk about JRPGs. Wow.
Well, he knows that you like them. And
first person are in the first person context.
Yeah. So despite the character that I play online, the aggressive hardline FPS lover, like I'm always trying to get into everything, right? Like I like Digimon Cyber Sleuth is my favorite game this year right now. I've never played a game like it ever before, and I'm having a blast with it.
Right now, somewhere Rex Novus just came.
Yeah, really.
Yep. Oh man.
So I'm always trying to play a lot of different things, and so I was kind of curious, like, what's a good entry point? Like where does somebody try to get into this stuff?
All right, hold on. I was tapping something in chat. No, I have never played a single Digimon game ever, and I don't plan on starting now. It's just not something I'm interested in.
You should. It's great.
I don't care what you say. I don't care what Rex says. I will never play.
I'm with John.
Sorry. I will never play a Digimon game. I don't have time for that shit.
What are Pokemon?
I have 100 hours in it, so yeah.
Are you just not a fan of like the monster collecting genre?
No, I'm not actually. No, not at all.
I'm not. Yeah.
Oh God, no. The only thing I collect are trophies, baby. That's all I do.
Oh, okay.
But so actually, Doc wanted to talk about a way that, or JRPGs and the merits of putting in a first-person shoot and loot mode into games like Final Fantasy VII.
That.
But you think it. We know you think it. We all know you think it. No, but
first-person JRPG would be pretty nice.
But so really, kind of what I was wondering, Jason, and I mean everybody. I think this is kind of a cool topic. Is that back in I think it was 1995 when Final Fantasy VII came out, and it kind of changed.
97.
Was it 97? What are you holding up there, Jeff? Get that, JT. Get that shit out of there.
Got the Vita going.
Get that shit out of there. But so back at HT Jeff reached his final form in chat. But anyway. So Final Fantasy VII came out, and it kind of introduced JRPGs, brought them into the U.S. mainstream. I mean, they were already huge in Japan, and that kind of made them available to a wider audience, which is a shame that Wild Arms actually wasn't a beneficiary of that, in my opinion, because that came out right before Final Fantasy VII did, and I felt like that was kind of overlooked. But for a while, JRPGs were huge, especially Final Fantasy. Like Final Fantasy VIII came out, 9, and then Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest, I guess, over here became large. And JRPGs, you had like games like Lost Odyssey, and so JRPGs became something of a cultural norm over here. But then I feel like they kind of tapered off after a while. And it's interesting that Final Fantasy 15 is coming out this year, and now all of a sudden everybody's talking about JRPGs again. So I kind of wanted to throw it out to the entire group. Do you think that Final Fantasy 15 has the potential to kind of act in the same manner that Final Fantasy 7 did, in that it will make JRPGs relevant in the West again? Because I don't feel like they are right now.
I don't know. That's how I feel. I don't think so.
Personally, I think people have been
so.
saying that JRPGs are irrelevant for every year for the past 20 years. Probably since the year after Final Fantasy 7, people have been declaring that JRPGs are dead.
Yeah.
Every single year. It's not. I mean, you can't really. That's not really accurate, I would say. I'm just gonna shoot you down from the beginning, John.
Okay, no, that's fine. No, please.
Here's the thing. You could argue that JRPGs are no longer mainstream, but I don't know if they ever were mainstream. There are two JRPGs I can think of that have ever gone actually mainstream, so to speak, as in people who don't play games will have played them or heard of them. One is Final Fantasy VII, and one is Kingdom Hearts. But other than that, every single game you listed, Dragon Quest, Lost Odyssey, pretty much any JRPG you can think of in the past 30 years, those have very specific audiences. And those specific audiences might be 1 million people, but it's still not, quote-unquote, mainstream. Yeah. Final Fantasy 15 could definitely reach the same, cross that border the way that Final Fantasy 7 did.
They're shooting for it.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they definitely wanted to have a movie and an anime and a car, private helicopters, whatever they're going to announce. but that would definitely usher in more game developers trying to be like that. But either way, even if that doesn't happen, I mean, we're still going to see Falcom and Atlas and all the other JRPG companies that people really love continuing to make good JRPGs. You know, I don't think they're irrelevant, and I don't think they are going to be irrelevant.
Well, do you think that? No, go ahead, please.
I think I'm exactly the person that you're talking about when you say like the person who doesn't like the traditional mainstream JRPG or they're not mainstream anymore because they're kind of outdated, as you would say. I'm not a big fan of turn-based games, turn-based battle systems, but I still like the games that are behind them. Like I want to get into Pokemon. Like I never did, but I love the idea. But the battle system just hinders that for me. I don't want to select my moves. I want to like do my moves in real time. And so like I think Final Fantasy 15, getting back to the subject, is the perfect blend of that. It's like the style of a Japanese game, but the combat and like the interaction of something that's more modern and more interactive for me. And that's what makes it appealing to me. And Final Fantasy 15, the demo, was my first interaction with the Final Fantasy franchise, other than like starting 7 and then like getting through it a little bit and okay, I could do this, but like the PS4 version, it has that fast forward, so it made things a little bit better. But it just, the whole menu based combat system for me personally is just frustrating. So having an action based combat system is like a revelation for me, because I still like what the franchise represents, like the characters and like the whole style of everything. I think it's cool. I want to immerse myself in that world. I just don't want to have to, go through all the tedious grinding of like a menu-based system, if that makes sense.
I'm going to say that JRPGs have not died. They're just online. And for whatever reason, they're much more popular in Asia than they are here. The JRPG single-player model worked here, and the online model didn't, in part because of the social problems of trying to communicate with people online. But games like 11 tried that with an auto-translate, Final Fantasy 11, that is. So I do think that if there is that opportunity to revive the popularity in the United States, it would be through a successful online JRPG. Things that, like Dungeon and Fighter, I think is the name, and then Ciphers are the big games that I see played over there now, and those games are pretty fun. If they had more English-speaking people on there, you could see they'd probably catch legs in the United States. But 15 should do something to revive interest in it. I just don't know that it'll be to the extent that you may have suggested, a revival of the series here in the United States.
I feel like 15 is really, really aiming hard for that bro crowd in the United States,
Yeah, because Noctis is a total bro.
Yeah, no. What I mean is that it's just a couple of dudes on a road trip, man. Like we're fucking rolling with the top down, we're fucking cruising. I don't have a problem with it. I really enjoy the demo, but there are things about it that I like. Everybody's really high on Final Fantasy 15, and I think it's going to be a great game. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, but there are certain things about it that like kind of give me pause. And I think one thing is the fact that there's like people have made a big deal about there being no female characters, and I don't think it's a big deal, but it's jarring in a way, because I can't remember a Final Fantasy game with fewer playable characters. Can anybody? There's what, 4 core characters?
Right? Yeah, 4.
Well, you only really play as Noctis. The other dudes just help you out.
Yeah, it's a little similar to Final Fantasy 13 in that sense, right, Jason? Like you're only controlled one character.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to judge the game based on playable characters when we haven't played it and we don't know. Like there could be all sorts of twists and surprises. It's weird to me that there is so much outrage about no playable female characters when we don't. For all we know, like Noctis could die halfway through and get replaced by Luna or something like that.
Spoiler.
Oh my God! Tweet it out.
Tweet it out. Jason's dropping bombs again.
GameSpot.
GameSpot. No, but I don't know. I've played both demos. I played the Duskai demo. Duskai, is that how you pronounce it? I never.
Duskai?
Duskai.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. And then I played the Platinum demo, and I cleared that in about 20 minutes.
Oh, the Platinum demo was worthless.
Yeah, it was an interesting. You know what? The Platinum demo, I think it showed, one, that they've improved the kind of like the combat interface, but two, also the kind of the I found the combat itself in the Platinum demo to be a little tighter and a little more enjoyable than what I came across in the Blue Sky demo.
Mm-hmm.
But it also feels very, very, very Kingdom Heartsy to me.
Yeah.
And it's so like I like and again, Jason makes a really good point. Like it's a little early to be judging it. I mean, it's a very, very small vertical slice of the game, and we can't, and I wouldn't dream to make a judgment call on the game now based on what I played. But it looks like Final Fantasy, but for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out whether or not that's a good thing.
It feels like an offline MMO.
Final Fantasy, the whole thing about Final Fantasy is that it changes. They went from ATB for like 6 games, and then changed it to turn-based combat in 10, and then changed it to like fucking like offline MMO in 12. So
that was the worst.
But the thing that defines Final Fantasy is that it's not the same game every single time.
Exactly.
It's not the same style with different characters. It's different characters. It's different gameplay. It's different everything.
Same awesome music.
Yeah.
Oh, the music is phenomenal.
But it just has those core things that define it: strong characters, strong cast, great soundtrack,
badass summons.
As long as it has the menu sound effects, it's a Final Fantasy.
Menu sound effects, absolutely.
I'm still
rocking my Era theme on PS4 just for those.
I just want a really good prelude. I just want the prelude. That's all I want. Because Final Fantasy 13, it's weird to say, but one of the big things I didn't like about Final Fantasy 13 is that there were almost no recognizable tracks in that game. I don't remember the main theme of Final Fantasy 7 or the main theme of Final Fantasy being in there. I don't remember the prelude being in there. And a Final Fantasy game without a prelude is just, it's not really a Final Fantasy. I don't know. Am I weird for thinking that?
They've already showed off a little bit of the prelude, or at least like a remix of it for 15.
I've actually got really high hopes for the soundtrack simply because I love that remix of "Stand by Me" by Florence and the Machine that played during the trailer. I went and downloaded that. That was and I'll say this much: the summons in that game look fucking outstanding.
Yeah,
it's the same composer that did Street Fighter 2.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Who is that? Who's composing this?
I forget her name, but she's pretty famous.
Okay, so it's not
she did Xenoblade Chronicles as well.
Do Hamazu or Uematsu have any hand in this game at all? Or
no.
At least in the... That's interesting.
Speaking of Xenoblade, that just came out for the Wii U.
I haven't played it. I have not played Xenoblade at all. I actually have not played a Wii U game. I've never owned a Wii U. And I probably never will now that it's dead.
Yeah, that's long past. So.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing is that I was kind of moving on from Final Fantasy is that, and Jason...
God. That composer did everything amazing. She did Street Fighter 2. She did Breath of Fire. She did Front Mission, Tobal #1, Super Mario RPG, Legend of Mana.
Super Mario RPG had a great
soundtrack.
She wrote the best boss music of all time from Mario and Luigi Dream Team.
Ah, man, this is amazing.
Mario. So yeah.
Yoko Shimomura. She's awesome.
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, I know that name. Okay, yeah. No, I'll never forget playing Super Mario RPG, and when you go in and you find that secret boss Culex, and it plays that remix of the Final Fantasy IV boss music. I was like, dude, I got amped up. I was like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. That's the shit right there. Give me fucking goosebumps. But there's also been a lot of talk about Nintendo this week and the fact that they are not launching the NX this year, which was honestly a big surprise for me. I kind of figured that they would be at E3, at least have a presence there, show the NX, talk about Zelda.
I'm so disappointed, man.
I was legit surprised by that, and I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought. Start with Jason, without saying too much, did you know in advance, Jason, that wasn't going to be the case, or were you kind of blindsided by that, like everybody else was?
No, I was pretty surprised. Signs point to them originally planning to release it in this holiday, 2016, and then delaying it. There are a few reasons I say that. One is that I think the reason they delayed Zelda last year in the first place was they made the decision to release it simultaneously with the NX version and cut their losses with the Wii U. And I think they said 2016 because they were planning to release the NX in 2016. And the second reason is that giant NeoGAF thread where the dude posted all those 3DS games and was totally right about everything. He said it was coming in 2016, and I believe that his source was 100% accurate, and that things changed between then and now.
So, do you think they're trying to get out of the way of the PlayStation 4 Neo and whatever Xbox is trying to put out? No?
No, I don't think they even think about that. I don't think Xbox or PlayStation play any factor into. Like, I think they see themselves as an independent entity that needs to compete on its own turf, because they know that there's no way they can compete with PlayStation and Xbox in terms of relationships with third parties and power and just like market share. They need to do their own thing. I think it's more because they realized that they wouldn't have a strong enough lineup this holiday, and they had to delay it. So March is the end of their fiscal year, and they have to keep it in this fiscal year to keep investors happy. So they bumped it as far as they could.
What do you guys think happens to Nintendo if the NX goes the way of the Wii U and just completely bombs?
They
Or
are
iOS
games. Fire Emblem gonna be a iOS only franchise.
Oh god, that's
It's gonna be huge.
You'd be playing
DLC character.
be playing Super Nintendo, or
$5.
you'd be playing Super Mario Brothers Galaxy on PlayStation Now.
I don't think we'll ever see that, but I definitely think they're going to be embracing the free-to-play Miitomo stuff. Like that's only the beginning for their mobile advances.
I don't know, man. No
So, I mean-
NX hardware this year, and then the low blow from Emily Rogers yesterday about
Oh yeah.
Retro not working on a Donkey Kong or a Metroid. I was like, you know what? I'm out. See ya. I'll wait for something to come out that I want.
I mean, have they already stated? I feel like they have, but have they already stated when they're going to cease production on the Wii U, or when they're going to start phasing it out? Because
I think they started phasing it out in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking savage, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like I don't know. Like, do you think this is? I mean, and this is for everybody, and everybody in chat too. Feel free to chime in on this. Do you guys feel like this is Nintendo's last chance?
Absolutely. As far as a console developer, yes. They might do handheld and mobile. That's it after.
Yeah, that's about what I'm thinking.
Man, like who would have imagined that it would come to this, right? Because like back in the day, and I think we talked about this briefly. Well, I mean, like back in the day, we used to say, let's go over to, hey, come over to my house, play Nintendo. Like you didn't say come over and play video games. You said, let's go play fucking Nintendo. And now, I mean, they're faced with the very real danger of going the way of Sega. I mean, did you guys see their financials this year?
No, I did not.
Nope.
I've seen some of it.
I'm sure
Yeah.
Zeke did.
Is he in chat?
He was.
I haven't seen him anymore.
So if you're still in chat, throw that shit out there in chat. But I believe they said that their revenue has dropped 61%, or it's forecasted to drop 61% in 2016. One of the two. It's awful. It's fucking terrible. And they are going to get annihilated this fall. I mean, with Zelda being pushed, there is nothing coming out. I think Star Fox was their last Wii U exclusive, right?
No, they got Paper Mario, right?
Paper Mario?
And what's that? A new Fire Emblem coming out?
Yeah, but I mean, those aren't going to sell the way like a Star Fox or like.
Oh no, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just saying in general.
I'm talking about like a big Nintendo exclusive, like a well-known. Yeah,
that Zelda. But if Zelda comes out on an X, who's going to buy the Wii U version? I don't know.
Well, and I have not heard very good things about the new Star Fox. I don't know if any of you guys have played it or not, but people have not been very kind to it. Jason, did you guys do a review of Star Fox?
Yeah, Steven thought it was interesting. The controls are a little bit nightmarish, but he was more bullish on them than I was. They're interesting, but they're also like a disaster to use and nauseating.
Really?
So I'm not a big fan.
That's a real shame, man.
I saved my money, man.
That's too bad.
Let me ask you guys this: how much do you think the correlation is between Nintendo's balking at embracing a good online infrastructure is tied into their poor success?
Greatly.
There's a lot of things that they should be doing, but they don't because they're like Suits, and they don't. You know what I mean? That's run by an organization of Suits. I mean, all the video game companies obviously are as well, but it seems like the other guys, I'll say Microsoft and Sony, get what gamers want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what Jim Sterling was saying last week.
Well, and it's like, and you guys tell me what you think, but I mean, Phil Spencer really kind of took what Don Metric did and did his best to turn the ship around. I think he succeeded on multiple fronts and kind of righting the Xbox ship. And Phil Spencer's a gamer. He's a gamer himself. He plays a lot of games. He understands games, and he understands what gamers want to see, more or less. And then, like you got guys like Adam Boyce, Shuhei Yoshida. They also are gamers themselves. They play a lot of games. They like to talk to the fans. They like to, listen to what fans want. Now, whether or not these things get implemented, I mean, that's just up to people higher than them. But they do try. They do listen.
I feel like Nintendo tells people what they should want.
Yes, exactly. It's a very. I feel like Yamauchi is still in charge. Because I mean, back when he was alive, he had a very, very business-minded mentality, and he ran Nintendo like a fucking. I mean, he ran a really tight ship, and he really didn't care too much about what gamers wanted. He was just worried about the bottom line, which is, that's what a CEO does. But at the same time, I agree with Al when he says that it seems like Nintendo is just, completely out of touch, and they need somebody like a Shigeru Miyamoto in charge.
God, he'd be so perfect.
He'd
definitely kept the face-rubbing mini games in Fire Emblem Fates.
I mean, really, like I feel like this is Nintendo's last chance to stay relevant, and I really hope they do, because I have always been of the opinion that 3 consoles are better than 2, and the industry is stronger as a whole with more competition, and I think it's going to be a much stronger ecosystem if the NX comes out and does what everybody hopes it will, which is cause a resurgence in Nintendo. I agree that I don't think it's going to catch up to PlayStation or Xbox. I think that ship has sailed. But I mean, who knows? I mean, we know fucking like next to nothing about the NX. I mean, there's been so much obfuscation and misinformation thrown around, and I think Nintendo needs to get in front of it. I think they need to talk more about their console now. I think Nintendo gamers are growing impatient.
Of the stuff they've put out, this Miitomo plan, where they're talking about introducing more Nintendo IPs to existing devices. They're saying create synergy with dedicated video game system business. I mean, this is in part almost Konglish, but in looking at it, they're trying to get some of the market that exists in Latin America and Asia. So I don't know if they'll introduce their own mobile platform, or if they're just going to try and shuttle some of the IPs towards that platform. But certainly with the I didn't realize this was even a thing. The My Nintendo user accounts, I wasn't a member, but these have been growing. They didn't give a number, but they're close to 100 million My Nintendo members, and 75% of those roughly exist overseas. So I think they're moving their headquarters to the United States, West Coast someplace. And they're certainly going to take a foothold in the United States and try and compete in probably that middle area between mobile and dedicated consoles. So that could be interesting. I mean, in the past, when they went casual, they got more gamers into the market, and that was good overall. I think if they get a little creative, they can do roughly the same thing. And if they focus on something like VR, they're going to put together a much better product than somebody like Samsung or some of the mobile gamers that are currently out there. And they may generate enough interest to bring people back to consoles like PS4 and Xbox One.
You know what? You brought up My Nintendo. That's one of the things that I was excited for Miitomo for, especially, was it seemed like Miitomo is their culmination of them realizing that they need to have a better online presence. They need to have the account systems working, and have a unified online persona for everybody, for everyone, to like have an account where you can go and have a list of games like
Yeah,
Xbox.
give me Nintendo trophies, man.
Yeah, I mean, everything needs to be unified, and it's just like friend codes are the most contrived bullshit ever.
Oh, I hate that. It's like, what's your friend code, Doug?
What's your friend?
Yeah, it's
7344223.
Well, they just I mean, they need a better UI in the next system because I mean, the Wii U. This is just my opinion, but I can't stand the Wii U UI. I hate it. And they also, like JT said, they need a stronger online infrastructure. But I think that's coming because there have been rumors that they've been courting Bungie for Destiny. So, and Jason, I don't know if you'd heard those rumors as well.
That sounds like nonsense to me.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Man, well, I guess not. Shit. I mean, if Jason says it's nonsense, it's probably nonsense.
No, I don't know. I mean,
the anti-scoop.
I can't say for sure.
Anti-scoop.
But
Tweet it out.
Tweet it out.
You give it, then you take it away.
Nintendo not getting Destiny.
So, actually, speaking of Jason, Jason, if you don't mind, we did have a few questions that had been tweeted out to us, and I've seen a few come up in chat as well.
I do not mind. Good news for you.
Awesome. All right, I should have worded that differently because if you'd have said like I do mind, we'd have been up fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
Well, that's been episode 31. We'll see you later. We're never again because we're done now. All right, so JT, you got those questions ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, start throwing some of those out there, and anybody
do you
in
have
chat
like a preferred question, or do you want to just go for all of them? Or
just start from the top.
Okay, I know Doc said that he wanted to jump in on a few of these, so feel free to add your 2 cents to Jason's question. All right, so the first one, I guess, would be, what are your favorite games to play while enjoying a podcast, such as SDGC?
I don't listen to podcasts while I game. I listen to them on the subway. So the answer to that question is Threes, which I play every day on the subway.
I just want to
is the best game ever made.
I just want to point out that right now his favorite game to play while listening to a podcast is Uncharted 4.
I wish I could. I pause in the middle of a cutscene, so I can't even like walk around while I'm recording this. Sadly, it's a real bummer. I'm just staring at the back of Nathan's head.
You're like, God, I want to play this so
A
bad
very
right now.
expertly rendered back of the head.
And you can see the reflection of the game in his glasses.
Instead I'm here with a bunch of yokels. God, I'm not playing Uncharted 4.
It's okay. I have the whole weekend. My girlfriend's out of town.
Oh, that worked out well, didn't it?
Good timing. Yeah, it's really
all
good.
right. All right, JT, what else we got, man?
That question was from the Mike Dip, by the way. So I wanted to give a shout out to him.
He was hoping for a shout out too. So there it is.
Yeah,
a friend of the
very
show.
good.
He likes his shout outs.
And just to Jason, I do enjoy Threes. Did you ever play Drop 7, by the way?
No, but I heard it's incredible.
Drop 7's a really good game, so you should check that out if you like Threes.
Yeah.
So the next question is from A Powell 2099, who says, "What is the best Suikoden 2 character? Can you get any scoops on a sequel?"
The scoop is that Konami hates you and will not be making any more games in that franchise. My favorite character, I don't know. There are a lot of them. Have any of you guys played Suikoden 2?
Oh,
absolutely.
God, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I bought it recently, but I haven't
My
played
favorite
it.
character is Luca Blight.
That's cruel. I think my favorite character is Sasarai, but he's more in the third game than the second game. He pops up in the second game though, so that should count.
It's all about the cook-off.
Yeah, the cook-off is the best.
So yeah, my favorite Suikoden character is Tifa. So, am I doing JRPGs right?
I wonder how Tifa's gonna look in the remake. Like, I wonder if they're gonna make her proportional, or if they're gonna just make her look ridiculous. Like,
if they're gonna go full Chun-Li and just have her boobies jiggling all over the
Oh
place.
God.
I really wonder. I'm very curious to see because people are going to get angry either way, no matter what.
Yeah,
really.
well, that's a great point.
She had a great design in Advent Children, so I feel pretty comfortable about what
She was really classy. She looked really classy in Advent Children. I thought, she was like, it was kind of it was a nice balance. It wasn't too over the top.
But that's the thing. So if she looks like she did in Advent Children, then you'll have like Gamergaters and other cretins being like, "Oh my God, censorship! They
Social
reduced
justice,
her breast size." Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, these social justice warriors took my titties away.
Her titties were too big. They need to go. I say that as someone who very much likes big titties.
Why do those social justice warriors? Why do they put a sports bra on Tifa?
Like, I feel like realistically, she would have been in so much back pain if she really looked like that.
That's what you got to get the orthopedic underwear.
Halfway through the adventure, Tifa just decides to take a knee. I'm out.
Right, or they keep the same breast size, but she wears a back brace the entire time.
I know, really. I mean, it's true. Like think about when she does that dolphin kick. You're like, God, how does she not like throwing her whole body out doing that?
Yeah, man, her bruise her eyes.
Lugging those things bruise her eyes. Christ.
Does anyone still have their Advent Children UMD?
Yeah, I
do.
No,
I don't actually. I don't.
I was in Best Buy like a month ago or so, and they still have UMD movies and UMD music out there.
You should have brought them all out.
I tweeted out a picture. Some people probably remember this.
Yeah, I remember. I liked it.
But there was a Tupac UMD.
Yeah.
Hell still sitting on the Best Buy shelves, while there was almost 0 Vita games on the shelf.
That's the saddest.
How that happened, I don't know. But why? I mean, there's a Michael Jackson UMD concert video. Like, I just it boggles the mind how those were still on the shelves all these years later.
That's so sad. There's still PSP games floating around, but there's no Vita games to be found anywhere. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, but
so
I know that I think the next question is one of my favorites. This is a really good one.
Yeah. So this is from Randall-Thor?
Randall Thor 19.
Randall Thor 19. He says, are there any tips/leaks that you were given over the years for games that you could not verify, so you didn't run a story, only for that tip or leak to end up being real?
Yes, many times, actually.
I had a feeling that was...
Okay, so here's the thing. So there are very rare occasions. Okay, so most of the time when I run something, it has at least 2 sources who are totally independent. So I got information from one person or one document or something, and then corroborate it with another person who is not linked to the first source. That's ideal. Ideal is more than 2, but 2 is the base number that I would want before I run something. Sometimes I'll run something when it's based on one source, if that source is someone who I know and trust and have worked with before, and I know that they're always 100% right. Then oftentimes what happens is I'll get tips from anonymous people who won't tell me who they are. And there's nothing I can do with that information if I can't corroborate it elsewhere. Like sometimes I'll get an anonymous tip and try and run it by other sources and see if they've heard anything, which can be helpful. But if I get an anonymous tip about something and they won't tell me who they are and I can't corroborate it, then there's nothing I can do with it. So that happens more often than you would think, and that information never is reported. And so some of the time it's fake, obviously, and then once in a while I'll get something that turns out to be true. So here's a good example. So I think it was 2014, right before E3, I got a tip. I think it was through Twitter DM from someone being like, "Hey, I work for Sony. The next Dark Souls 2 is going to have 3 expansions. Uncharted 4 is going to be called A Thief's End.
Oh my God!
Wow.
From software game is Bloodborne." I was like, "Hey man, this is helpful information, but can you tell me who you are?" And he didn't respond. And I kept bugging him and responding to him and asking him to get back to me, but he never did. And then E3 came by and they were like, Uncharted 4, Thieves' End. I was like, oh, well, there it is. So that sort of thing. a few times, and it's not. I would rather that happen than publish something that is wrong. So it's not really the end of the world if like I don't get the scoop on something. And really, I mean, people. Obviously, you guys like your scoops, but the stories I prefer to do.
What do
are
you mean, you
stories-
guys?
You
Come
people.
on.
You
people.
You
You
people
degenerates.
But the stories I really prefer to do are stories that you're not going to find out about in a few months anyway. So like stories about what really happened to Destiny and stuff like that is a lot more interesting to me and valuable than stories that are like, here's the next Assassin's Creed that's you're going to find out about anyway. And don't get me wrong, I love doing those stories and I love getting information out there and reporting information, and that's my job. But the former type of story is my preference for the most part.
I agree. Those are the most interesting. You know, the ones that you wouldn't otherwise hear about. You know, you have the background perspective. So, yeah,
I like that
those are
Bungie
really cool.
article about Destiny, actually, personally.
Yep.
I think my favorite one was the Obsidian time travel one.
The Backspace, the game they made.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're the only person on the planet who remembers that article.
I've been on Kotaku longer than you've worked there, so yeah, I have a weird encyclopedic memory of a lot of content.
That's great. Yeah, that would have been a cool game. Yeah, I like that. That's the type of thing I really like posting. Pitches that never got made, cancel games, that sort of thing. I like that. I wish we'd had more of those on Kotaku.
You know what? My favorite article of yours was the one where you called out Taco Bell for people not receiving their Vitas that they won. Yeah. Because that's how I received my second Vita. Was through that Taco Bell contest.
That was
I was the one who like gave you the information about that. Like they're screwing over people. They're outsourcing their contest stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. That was like my first Kotaku like real story at Kotaku. That was like
really. That's
my
cool,
second week on the job or something. That was like the first time I really actually started reporting interesting things at Kotaku.
So you owe everything to JT.
JT, it's all because of you. It's all because of you.
You're only here because we put you here, Jason.
It's come full circle.
I'm gonna go find that story again and see if I'm the source on that or not, because I should be.
Don't ever forget that, Jason. Every time you write an article.
I think it was like from a Reddit post, because I tried to like raise awareness about it, because like they were trying to screw me over by saying like the contest had a glitch in it or something, and so I wasn't gonna get my Vita. And so I was like, dude, I gotta.
Okay, I found the article. It was published February 10th, 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a week after I started.
That's crazy. I didn't realize. I thought you'd been there longer, man. Jason.
No, I started in beginning of February 2012. Yeah, 4.5 years. No, 4.25 years.
So damn, man.
Is JT cited as a source?
What if JT's been like a Kotaku insider this whole time and we didn't know it, and he's been
JT tells me everything, man.
Pretty sure if he was, we'd have way more Rocket League articles.
Yeah, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. I'm Steve.
Yeah, there's only a 7 to 10K chance of that being true. That's wrong. I shouldn't do that. All right, so I saw a really good question pop up in chat, JT, and I know that Doc had wanted to cut in on this as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me find it. Actually, if you got it pulled up, go ahead and ask it.
Yeah, actually, so I just had the motherfucker up.
Here we go. Question for Jason: how does he feel about the shift in games journalism from written to video?
Oh man, that's a loaded question.
That's why you're here, right?
Yeah.
I don't. I think video. Well, I don't think there's ever not going to be an audience for written journalism. I think video is changing a lot of how that journalism is handled and what kind of turns into articles and what doesn't, and it's influencing the industry in a lot of ways. But I don't think we'll ever see a world where there's no more print articles and it's only videos, because a lot of people. Oh, I like your hat, John.
Thank you very much.
A a lot of people are like doing stuff at work all day and can't just sit there and watch videos and like to read things to get their news. So yeah, I mean it's a demographic thing, and I think it'll be interesting to see if video keeps growing as massively as that uh, age group of teens and early 20s folks as they grow up and start getting jobs and and are like reading more stuff than watching it. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I've always felt like video will make for and is a good complement to written stuff rather than a replacement for it.
Okay. Cool.
Doc, I know Doc, you had something to say on this.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about the best way to put this. Most of the stuff that I write is these deep dives on, game mechanics. It's a big part of the reason of that is, because I don't have like contacts in the industry that I can write about, or there's a whole lot of reasons that I pitch the stuff I pitch, but I've been told over the years by a lot of different editors from a lot of different websites that nobody really wants the kind of stuff that I'm writing. But when you look at YouTube, a lot of the sort of the most interesting YouTubers out there, the people who are making the videos that are getting lots of views, that are getting shared around, are actually the people who are analyzing mechanics. Like you have guys like Ahoy or Noah Gervais or just like a ridiculous number of people.
Yeah, the editors who told you that are just like shitty at their jobs.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I mean, a couple of them run sites that I look down on, but
well, so here's the thing, Doc, and I think there's a reason that we have you writing for us. A lot of game sites are stuck in the mentality of only writing about what's coming next,
Exactly.
rather than looking back at games that are currently out or that came out in the past, and and I think you've seen other sites kind of follow our trend in this regard, but we started a couple of years ago focusing more on games that are out and games that people can actually play rather than hype for the future. And I think a lot of that hype is moving more to video, and now people love watching like YouTubers just talk about what's coming next and like stand in front of a camera and do that. But I think there's definitely an appetite for an article we ran on Kotaku that's just about Doom 3's source code, and it's like a deep dive into the source code that Carmack wrote. That has I think like 800,000 page views right now, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's an article about source code, but it's like testament to the fact that people love reading about old games and love reading really specific, granular, interesting stuff, such as Doc's level design stuff, which I really enjoy, and I'm glad that we get to publish once in a while on Kotaku.
I wish more people enjoyed it because I'm at the point where I'm considering giving it up, just because I need to figure out how to pay the bills, especially with graduation here in a week. Like I want to do more, but this is part of the reason I've been thinking about moving to YouTube is because like I know there's an audience for me there. Mm-hmm. I've tried pitching to a bunch of different websites and they're like, we don't want this, and then like it took me I think 4 years to get a Stalker article written, and it's I think my second most viewed Kotaku article. I love that game, but you have so many people who just, nobody cares about Stalker, it's a random-ass game from the middle of nowhere.
I still care about Stalker.
I actually think that that's the type of content that your level design analysis would actually work really well on video, and I would like to see you do that. I think you would do really well if you made videos like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, too, is I'm thinking that video's popularity is really for a different kind of audience. I don't think a lot of your articles would necessarily work well on YouTube. I think they're perfect for the written word. Like I realize that can come across as a negative. That's not meant
like investigative stuff. Yeah.
I like reading investigative stuff. That's like 90% of what I enjoy reading about games writing. Like I don't care about news at all.
Don't worry. I mean, trust me. There are plenty of YouTubers who just copy-paste my articles into their own notes and just read them out loud and get hundreds of thousands of views. So yeah, that definitely works on YouTube. It is what it is.
I just want to point out, Doc, for a minute I thought you said it took me 4 years to get a stalker, and I was like, well, you're not,
No, I
had you're better looking than that, Doc. Come
It
on.
took me a second to make the connection.
I think the first stalker that I've ever had was on Kotaku, actually, about 2008 or so.
Oh, I was going to say it was Jason, wasn't it? But then I realized that's impossible.
I don't know.
So-
Brandon got
have
his first stalker
commenters. I have
15
crazy
episodes in.
commenters.
I was actually Brandon's first stalker, believe it or not.
As you should be.
There's actually a really cool question in chat, if you don't mind answering it real quick, Jason. From our buddy Brad Davis, or BGamer90. You can actually check him out on YouTube. He's got his own channel. He says, do you think Neo or new Xbox, whatever you want to call it, will cause a Game Boy SP level impact or more of a new 3DS impact?
Will they cause a what? Sorry, I missed that last part.
Will they cause a Game Boy SP level impact or more of a new 3DS impact? It's an interesting way to put it.
So big versus little.
Yeah,
Big
that's
versus little.
interesting.
That's a better.
That's an interesting question. I think it depends on a lot of things. It depends how games use them. I mean, the thing about the new 3DS is that there isn't a lot of like easy way to tell that a game is running better on the new 3DS than it is on the old 3DS. There's no video-to-video comparisons, and I imagine part of
Sony. Hyrule Legends.
Well, yeah, that's true. Hyrule Legends is one of the few games that
It's an
actually
exception.
seems to have been benefited for him. Yeah, and also like Xenoblade. Well, I guess Xenoblade you could only play on new 3DS.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a couple.
I get what
But
you're saying, though.
but I imagine that when Sony and Microsoft do their respective initiatives, they're going to be posting like side-by-side comparison videos and being like, here's what all these guys did with Neo, and so on and so on. So it could have, I don't know, it's really hard to say right now. These things haven't even been announced. Everyone talks about Neo like we all know what it is, and they're like, oh my god, I can't believe Sony's doing this, and they haven't even announced it yet. Like for all we know, they might have an upgrade program, and they'd be crazy if they don't have an upgrade program of some sort. But yeah, we don't even know when they're coming out, how VR will be impacted. There are a lot of questions still surrounding this entire.
Yeah, I think we've talked pretty extensively about that, and I think most of us think everybody's making kind of a mountain out of a molehill on this one. I don't see it being that big of a deal. I think it's going to be received and just fine, and I think people will. I think you know what, we'd said this before, Jason, but I think it's obviously being catered to the hardcore crowd, like basically everybody on this podcast. And with the price drop on the OG PS4, I think that will actually sell more because the mass market cares more.
Lose John?
Yeah, I think I just lost John.
Yeah.
John,
are you there?
His face is frozen in a hilarious
in the O face.
He's got the O face.
Cold.
I hope it's like that on YouTube because that's amazing.
He always
amazing.
looks like that when he's talking about PS4K.
I'm going to segue real quick. Jason, I have a question from one of my buddies in Discord chat. He is asking me to ask you how excited you are for Zero Time Dilemma.
Crazy. I'm so excited that like earlier this week I emailed Axis asking them for review codes even though it's 2 months away. I was like, hey, listen, I really want to play this.
Yeah, he loves that game. He's super excited about it. So am I. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm already like considering it Game of the Year 2016.
I'm gonna let you know what I think.
I
of
want to tweet
his
that out.
last reward.
Tweet it.
Yeah, Game of the Year. Game of the Year. That and Danganronpa 3 are
Yeah,
so good.
I'm excited for that as well. I hope the anime gets like localized or comes over quickly. Like not the Super Danganronpa, but like Danganronpa V3.
Yeah.
Like the one that's wrapping up the game.
It's supposed to be a bridge, right?
Yeah.
Between 2 and
it's like wrapping
3.
up the story from 1 and 2, and then it will like Super Danganronpa 3 is going to be like a whole new direction. Like it's not going to be tied in directly to the story of 1 and 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So should I be playing 999 sooner rather than later? Because I have it.
Yes.
Oh
my
yeah,
yes.
you gotta play it.
Yes.
I was gonna go play the first Dark Souls, but if this thing's coming out pretty soon, maybe I should just go ahead and
You should
check that out.
you should really do it. I started it on DS and then I switched over to iOS because I just wanted to get the story and then move on to VLR before Zero Time Dilemma came out because I feel like I was in a time crunch. So if you don't really want to go through all of the puzzles, and kind of because that takes a longer time because the puzzles are pretty complicated in some parts. You can just get like the straight visual novel part on iOS, and I don't know if it's on Android or not.
I don't have iOS, so whatever.
Okay.
I'll just get it on DS if I like 999, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean that's the best place to play from what I understand.
Yeah, for sure.
We got one more question for Jason, I guess, and I guess we're getting close to wrapping up. This is from our friends at the Basement Radio Arcade podcast. He wants to know what your most anticipated VR game is.
I'm not really a VR person. I like holding a system in my hands. I like portable games and I like console games, and I don't know. I played a lot of VR stuff at like trade shows and whatnot, but I can't imagine sitting in my living room and playing a VR game for an extended period of time. And that might change in a year or two when it's more advanced and like more convenient and less isolating, and there are cool stuff on there. But right now, I'm not really excited about anything related to VR. I'm more excited for new Nintendo games and seeing what NX is and more JRPGs.
Yeah.
Zero Time Dilemma.
Yeah, and there's so many games coming this year. I was just looking at a list with Kirk, my coworker. We were looking through like what's actually coming out this year and what hasn't been announced yet, and there's just so much shit. Like it's hard to care about VR when there's so much non-VR stuff that is going to occupy so much of my time.
Adrift is like the only VR game I've played that I think I would actually recommend people play right now. Although I played the Climb at GDC, and I think everyone needs to play the Climb. But
yeah, I heard good things about the Climb. Steven Totolo was just telling me that it's really cool.
Before I got really sick, I used to do a lot of rock climbing, and it actually let me kind of inhabit my pre-sick self, which was really like very moving to me to sort of get to do this thing I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to do again, which was really cool.
Very cool.
If you guys have any like too many games to review, though, just hit me up. You know, I'm always looking for work.
The thing about reviews is we never really get freelancers to review games.
I know.
Just a real quick question for Jason, because I know somebody will want to know. Do you think VR will be a fad? We've answered this question on the podcast before, but I'm curious to see your insight into this.
I don't know. I thought so for a while. I thought it would go the way of 3D TVs, but so many companies have so much money invested that it almost feels like it can't. Like it's not like 3D TV where it was really all one or two companies like getting really into it. Or even other like failed tech like that, like Sony's Wonderbook and Sony's PlayStation Move and Sony's Vita. So yeah, I don't think it'll be a fad. I think it might not become mainstream for another few years. If it ever becomes mainstream, it might always just be like a hobbyist thing, which might be fine for some companies. I don't know, but I don't think there's any possible with the number of billions, the amount of billions that have gone into VR and are still going into VR. Like every company in Silicon Valley wants a part of it, and it's big. It's too big to be a fad, I think.
Okay. All right, well, cool. I think that does it for the questions.
We're going to have to wrap this up on our own here.
Yeah, this is crazy.
We've never had to do this before.
I know. So if nobody else has anything else to say, other than buy a Vita, which you should totally do.
That's
I have
good
one
advice.
thing to say. All right, go
for it.
Please be sure to check out the Basement Art Radio Arcade Podcast, Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Shameless.
Okay. All right.
But thanks for having me on. As always, I appreciate
Thanks for
it.
being on. Hopefully Jeff can come back soon. Jeez.
Yep.
Dear
Yep.
Lord,
So
man.
I will wrap this thing up by saying what John always says, and I'm not sure if I'll get it right, but
Nice.
You
He's
gotta
going to
get
say
it
it
right.
wrong. He's
we
gonna
may
say it
not
wrong.
we may not agree on everything, but we're always awesome, and so you should tune in next week.
That is exactly how it goes.
I think that's how it goes. I want to say thank you to Jason Schreier for joining us today. This has been
thanks so
really
much,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on, man. That was great.
Sure. Yeah. Great. All right.
You're
Thanks,
welcome anytime, and it's been a lot of fun. So if nobody else has anything, I think we're gonna sign off of here.
Tunnel snakes rule.
We'll be,
Let's roll.
Tunnel
we'll be back next Thursday as usual.
Yep, that's also true. All right, guys. Well, it's been a good one. We'll catch you next week.
I'm gonna go play a video game.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
We'll